कराची से खबर आ रही है। फिक्सिट की जानिब से वजीर आला हाउस की जानिब एहतजाज।
ये गैर सियासी करने के लिए पुलिस को इस वक्त का एहतमाम किया गया है। बहुत बड़ी तादाद में लोगों की मौजूद है और
मुजाहिरीन को रोकने की कोशिश की जा रही है। और
पुलिस और फिक्सिट के हामियों में हाथापाई भी हुई। लाठियां बरसाई गईं, मुजाहिरीन पर
शेलिंग की जा रही है और वाटर कैनन का इस्तेमाल किया जा रहा है। आपको बताएं कि
फिक्सिट के बानी आलमगीर खान समेत मुतादिद कारकुनान को हिरासत में ले लिया गया।
आलमगीर खान और उनके साथी विक्ट्री का निशान बनाते हुए पुलिस मोबाइल में जा बैठे, जहां से उन्हें थाने मुंतकिल कर दिया गया।
This is an uncovered manhole in your local town, and this is your now ex-Chief Minister Sindh associated to the manhole. On the 3rd of January 2 years ago, an online video spread virally across social media of moments before what you just saw. The message was pretty self-explanatory for the addressed authority to tend to a long-neglected responsibility under a simple title, "Ideas are bulletproof." This bold stunt resonated among millions at the time, gaining media coverage from all over the country. In less than a week, this had become a nationally popular phenomenon, able to gather about 100 volunteers who contributed towards an immediate fix and the eventual resignation of the confronter. With the heat about to settle, this young activist, Alamgir, was only beginning, with much bigger plans to succeed. Established immediately as a campaign, Fixit progressed further with more social work and services to the public, including covering of more manholes, patching of potholes, routinely disposal of accumulated garbage on the streets, installing hand pumps in areas without access to water, clearing wall joggers, and plantation. Expanding from the city of Karachi and outwards, Fixit has managed to strive hard against these petty matters almost religiously till today, all via the same strategy of raising concern against institutional lethargy towards an issue and gaining direct contribution from the general public essentially every time. This bestowed trust has enabled Alamgir and his supporters to take pride in some remarkable achievements over the past 2 years of its run. From establishing strong social welfare systems providing for the needful every single day in terms of food, clothing, water, an orphanage as shelter, and schools for basic education, to effective protests for maintenance of 2 primary traffic saturated roads in Pakistan's biggest city. Branching out to different provinces of the country, Fixit is no longer a campaign but an organization, the fastest growing of its kind. Almost now an NRK hub for the general public to voice their concerns, submit complaints, receiving facilitation. The effectiveness of which is due to the simplicity in their reach, Fixit being a social media based cause. And as underwhelming as it sounds, this is the true genius behind it. Alamgir and his organization not only use the potential of internet as means of communication, but utilize it to its full prowess, to raise concern, to gain recognition, to trigger instant responses, or to push a trend with almost every update ending with a hashtag, either fixed or to be. Practically, many campaigns are easier to initiate than to sustain and evolve, being brought down by the cause it stands against or its own frail principles. But Fixit has prevailed and seems to only be cementing its foot in the face of opposition, which is critically due to the innovation it brought along as its very foundation. At introduction, Fixit declared itself purely apolitical, refraining from any political advices or interventions. Second, Alamgir Khan, the founder of the movement, was no influential figure starting the campaign. Although member of a political movement, he was no celebrity endorsing it. For lack of a better understanding, this is a celebrity endorsing a political party. Alamgir addresses to himself as an Aam Aadmi behind every move and has stuck to this identity throughout. Third, Fixit was not a result of assessed feasibilities, but result of a chain of actions, result of the simplicity of its operations, which is how it continues to serve the public as a quick antidote to their daily struggles, not centering itself around promises. Lastly, at the primary province of its operations, if an NGO seems to be contributing towards public welfare more than the government itself, already with 50% of last year's 200 billion rupee development budget yet to be spent, something doesn't seem right. And Fixit knows that, which is why at the initiation of every project, it never forgets to address the respective authority lacking towards its responsibility, And this ties in powerfully with its initial purpose of reminding the people of certain facts. 1. Your government is dysfunctional. 2. You set up the government and you pay for it. 3. Know and demand for your rights. 4. Help what you can locally. These reminders, encouraging a fair shift of power back to the people, appeal to a very simple message, all in an effortful
symbolic message hota hai.
Because the truth is, Fixit is not a solution to the problem. Determined individuals are not your knights in shining armor. The fairy tale philosophy of a hero's awakening to amend all the wicked ways of our society is the perfect misinterpretation of this movement altogether. Aware of being described as a local hero, Alamgir has spoken out against it numerous times. He knows of the weight that burdens while being labeled as one. Because a hero is not someone perfect, it's the idea of one, to strive to. In retrospect, they're not supposed to be glorified as a person, but for their message and the work they leave behind, or the inspiration and hope they gave to you. All while being ordinary people, because that is the problem. They don't last. Essentially, Fixit is a fresh strategy of social activism. It's more than about changing the country and its circumstances, but something more insidious and trivial. That is the attitude of the common man. It's no coincidence that the campaign's expression of concern with your nation and its negligence is also directed towards a purely social media-based audience. You are the people it talks about. And it's common to parallel quantitative figures on social media to internet fame. Only that's not all it's about in this case. Each figure establishes a success story, a mental acknowledgement, support, or change in perception, as proof of success with the very idea that one man, an Aam Aadmi, set out to fulfill 2 years ago.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. Fixit is something that's fascinated me for a very long time now. I'm super glad I finally made a video on this. I'll link their social media down below if you want to check them out. You can subscribe right here by clicking on my photo, or you can watch the previous video somewhere around there. Right? I'll see you soon.